Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to, if you didn't know, and I had to check this out, I didn't know it until last night, but Mr. Tom, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you doing?
And yes, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I didn't realize it, but today is the 100th show of the road trip. Yes, 100th show. Like 2 summers ago, we started this thing, and I have a little video, like a little three minute video where I pulled some snippets out of that first show that we did, and you'll laugh at some of it because some of it is nothing has changed. You know, the more things that change, the more things stay the same, kind of thing. And but
Yeah,
it's like a 3 minute video. It's 3 minutes, and why do you think that video is 3 minutes? Because I'll give you, it should be really easy, but I'll let you guess. Why would you think that the little snippets that I took out were 3 minutes and not probably just a minute?
uh, is it more because you're all laughing at the ranty nature of what is going on, or Dr. Leeds, maybe?
No,
Or
no. Oh, no, no. This is you're not. No, not this one. But this is like an easy one. This is like why is anything a little bit longer than it should be?
oh, because Tony's on it. Sorry, yeah, no, no, yeah. Well, Tony must have been on episode one.
Yes.
How else would that? Yeah, yeah,
It's funny. And like I call the show um, the summer stop, and then like 2 shows later I changed it to the road trip. But like, yeah, it started out as the summer stop. It was like the road trip, but the summer stop, um, road trip. And then I was like, nah, road trip it is, and that's it. Kind of stuck for the remaining 98 shows. So here we are, 100 shows of the road trip, and I'll play the video a little bit later once we get a little bit more people saying hi to us and
yeah,
stuff. But
yeah. Of
it's like
course, of
three
course.
minutes, and like I said, I'm not a good you
There's
know
no point in playing it twice.
media person, so I tried to take the snippets out that I could. It's one of those things where now I know why people sometimes will put in like um, timestamps and stuff for things that happen, because then they can go back to it and then figure it out. And then, but like, you have to have time for that. It took me like an hour and a half to
To
just to
make the 3 minutes.
to make like 3 minutes, because I wanted to find different part. I wanted to find the beginning, I wanted to find the end, and I wanted to find something in the middle. And like, there's less in the middle than I wanted, but like, that's because I would have had to gone through the whole hour and a half of the show. I didn't really have an hour and a half to go through, and then like getting it all in the right order and stuff like that. That's
You'd
kind
have
of,
just ended up playing the hour and a half show again.
yeah. So I was like, no, I'll just, you know, what I'll try to do
So,
going forward is, if I do have a show that I want to pull a snippet out of it, I will make a note, pull it out, and then I don't have to go look for it again.
well, there's a so if it Tony was on it and it lasted an hour and a half, I'm pretty sure there was a solid 7 minutes of content.
The first minutes of the show is where the bulk of the 3 minutes. Let's just say that, and you'll
Yeah,
see what, and you probably have seen this happen before on one of your shows. But it was, I was like, first I was like, oh, I'll do the intros, but then because it's Tony, the intros take a little bit longer than usual. So,
a little bit
and
longer.
then there's a snippet of you going at Tony, which is nothing new. Like, think about that. 2 years ago, you basically, you know, yeah. But anyways, well, I'll play the video. You know, relive it for a little bit. But that was, like I said, that was essentially about just over 2 years ago. We did that first show, and yeah, so we're like well over 100 on the trip, and just hit the 200 mark on the road trip. So pretty cool for me doing that. We only do it once a week, so I guess, so. Yeah, yep. So that's where we
Yeah,
are. So how are you doing, Mr. Tom?
I've not got many complaints. So I'm doing okay. I did get Amazon Prime this week, so I was looking through their catalogue of television and film.
Mm,
But yeah, I saw two movies yesterday, so got that as well. at cinema, not Amazon Prime. But yeah, so not much. Exciting times, as I say, preparing for tomorrow.
Yes, yes, that is yes. It'll be cool. I'm gonna push this out to the what you call it? What do they call it?
Huge game tomorrow, Canada versus Uruguay.
Huge game tomorrow. Canada versus Uruguay.
Starts at like 2 a.m. in the UK time, so I'm technically correct from my perspective. I mean, from your perspective, it's tonight.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay.
But hopefully, Bielsa won't rest his players, and he will absolutely demolish Canada. Hopefully.
That is true. I wasn't
That
even thinking.
fraud Jesse Marsh
I
needs to be put
wasn't
in his
even
place,
thinking about that as like there was something about that game because you did mention it and I was like on a tweet or something like that and I was like, why is he mentioning it? But yes, you're right. That is an interesting game for you, in the sense that yeah, you would like to see how he does against if he goes out and beats Bielsa and
Jesse
then
Marsh wins. Oh, it'd be awful.
if he goes out and beats you beats Bielsa, that would be. I mean that would just show that one, not playing for the final, but also two players like, dude, I'm gonna shut it down now. What does third place mean, anyways?
Yeah.
And I think I think it's a catch-22 because if they lose it and it looks poor, it's like mentally, it's probably more mental than anything. But then if they went out there and they played really good and they lost 3-2,
I fully expect Bielsa to play a second string team to give the squad players some minutes in the tournament.
mm-hmm.
And I expect Jesse Marsh to do the opposite. He'll play his best players because, well, his team generally are not as strong. So basically, the real difference is in between them is if Jesse Marsh wins, he will be like, I beat the guy I replaced at Leeds. Whereas if Bielsa wins, Bielsa will just go, okay, congratulations. He'll be really nice about him.
True.
Because Bielsa's like the nicest and greatest man on earth, and Jesse Marsh is a prick.
True. And before we continue, we've got our third partner in crime, and also
third man
on the wheel here. Sam joins us. How you doing, Sam?
Good afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing?
Doing good. I was just telling Mr. Tom I pulled out about 3 minutes from our first show and put in a video, which I'll post a little bit later. And
give Sam the pop quiz that I got.
Oh yes. So I was just gonna do like a minute, but it turned out to be 3 minutes, and there's a reason why I went for 3 minutes. Can you think of a reason why a 1 minute snippet, from a show would go to 3 minutes?
Someone's involvement.
And you're on the right road. What's the destination now?
Is it a certain crazy wheelchair-bound hooligan from Oklahoma?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
How could I ever guess?
Mr. Tom thought it was all about him.
Yeah, I did. I was like, was there like a Dr. Leeds thing in there? Because it hadn't twigged with me that Gary had said, why would it be 3 times the amount of time? And then I realised, oh, actually, that happens on my show on Thursdays every week. That's cozy.
So yeah. So because I said I'll do the intro, I'll do the exit, and I'll find something in the middle, and then you'll see. It basically was the intro, but it was it's crazy to see that from way back then, and then see where you are today. The audio, the video was kind of crappy because it was on that Restream platform, but that's cool. But so no, I'll put that out there in a little bit. But yeah, we were just Mr. Tom was just talking about the big game. Is it the big? Oh, it's today. No, isn't it the today? Today Uruguay.
For you, it's today. For us, it would be tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning. So like 2-3 a.m.
Yeah.
European time.
Oh, okay. Yes. So
But it's Saturday
yeah,
night for you, to be fair.
yeah, Uruguay against Canada, the big Leeds reunion.
The Leeds United derby over in South America. Well, technically North America.
Yes. I sent you that little tweet of Bielsa complaining about the bumps in the grass, the bumpy grassy field.
He had a lot to get off his chest. Yeah, and probably quite rightly so as well.
He's the greatest man on earth. All that stuff he was saying, football's not as good as it was anymore. Like, the players are fitter, and like all the equipment is the best it'll ever be, but no one cares. Viewership is dropping off because all the games are boring because it's become so. It's like yeah, Bielsa, it's your fault, mate. Like, and I don't like blaming God, but you went and you taught Pep Guardiola how to play, and then he took it and went, yeah, let's make it really boring and defensive. You should be sitting there going, no, Pep, that's not what I told you to do.
Well, you know, that's kind of like what you see in like I can only take it back to like basketball, because like you got Michael Jordan and you have LeBron. One is the GOAT and one is like LeBron, all right? And like you look at their games and it's like one was taking elbows and cheap shots from Detroit Pistons. The other one is falling over himself sometimes when he gets bumped, and he's like twice the size of a Michael Jordan. And you're like, dude, you know, what's going on here? But hey, look, a couple people have joined us here, so let's say hello to them real quick. Ray's joined us. Says hello everyone. You listen. You listen in every Saturday. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Yes. Arsenal and Leeds fans have a good weekend. Yes. Or Leeds and Arsenal.
Yeah, but the Man United fans, I want you to bite your own tongue when you try and eat something.
Big up, Ray.
Yeah, yes, and we've got Brownie in the house, or Adam when he's in trouble.
Brownie. Hope Brownie's well. Welcome. Hope he's well.
Brownie, what's on your football hacker for today?
It's going to be something nostalgic, isn't it? It's going to be something how everything was so much better in the 80s.
That is a good question. You know, was football better? And when was the last time it was that good?
I mean,
you guys have been living it for like 30, 40, 50 years, right? So,
well, similar to what Bielsa was saying, it's very, like, by every metric, the peak is the peak. Like, football will never be better until the future. Like, it's obviously getting better in terms of, like, fitness and, you know, just the way, the seriousness put into the game. But to actually watch it, it's dross. This European Championship exposed a lot of things about elite football. Not every game can be a 5-5, but I like to feel there are more games where teams are trying to score 5. And a lot of the elite teams weren't trying to score goals. They were basically scoring a goal and then, right, we're going to try and defend this. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm having a conversation with the telly, but still.
I think it's the philosophy that changed with the dawn of. Yeah, I mean, I think it happened with Wenger. It happened with Pep Guardiola, several other managers. You know, the early 2000s, when mid 2000s, the shift went from, you know, attacking, counter-attacking football, more direct play going towards the goal. They found there was more the philosophy of possession-based football, where the new philosophy that was introduced was if you have the ball more, you control the game, and when you control the game, you're going to create more chances. You're going to control the better of the chance of controlling the outcome of the game. Now, statistically, of course, you know, that is true, because statistically, the teams that have the most possession are normally the winners of those football games, even though, of course, we've seen many examples of the opposite, smash and grabs, you have one shot and win a game. That, of course, can happen. But in general, possession is going to equal winning the game. And that became the mantra of the tiki-taka football, keeping the ball, possession-oriented. And that's what we've seen now also in the Euros is, it's about, apart from some teams like Georgia and Switzerland, playing much more direct football still. But a lot of the teams, they're playing possession-oriented, containing, and then countering when the opportunity arises. And it's boring. It really is boring. After a while, it's just like, come on, attack. Let's, the sideways passes, the backwards passes, instead of trying to take more risk and go forwards, it becomes boring.
Yeah, and I think the also the attention to detail is lost, and that's probably because there's so much money involved. They're doing the bare minimum just to maintain that check, right? But like the things that you've seen before, like for me, I feel like they would practice on certain things a lot. So when you saw it in a game, you would think, "Damn, how did they?" They've been doing that all the time. Little flip of the ball over their shoulder. When's the last time you see somebody do that in a game?
Yeah, there's less flair now, a lot less flair, isn't there? It's a lot less encouraged.
Yeah, because you talk about possession, but that's also possession as well when it's one player as opposed to a team, right? Like Henry, how many times have we seen all the videos of him like all by himself with the ball at his feet the entire time, going through the defense, going into the corner, players coming, it doesn't matter. He's got so much control of the ball that you don't see that now. When's the last, like, to finish off a game, everybody says it. He's just going to go to the corner, and they never do. What do? They go back, right? Go back to the goalkeeper and say, pat. And it's like, you know what? They can't score if you're on the if you're on the other side of the pitch in the corner there. It's better off to lose the ball there than on your side. So I want you know.
Yeah, it's about taking a lot less risk now, isn't it? It's less risk being, it's about mitigating risk, isn't it? Trying to contain, control, take less risk, and then create a chance when you create a chance. And it's a lot more boring. And I see Brownie raises a good point as well, because along call it the evolution of possession-based football, we got into this whole thing where all of a sudden you don't play with a striker anymore. You're playing with a false nine. You can play with an attacking midfielder as a striker. You haven't really got a proper striker anymore. And you see so many teams use that tactic now, and it's to the detriment of the game. It really is, because you miss the forward up there, back trying to bang in shots and all of that and getting in the box. It's just not really happening anymore. I miss the old 4-4-2, two strikers up front. Playing together, complementing each other. I miss that, the old two strikers up front.
Yeah, no, I was like, when I first started watching Arsenal religiously, like, I know everybody hates him, call him Judas and all this stuff, but Robert Van Persie is the last true striker that I saw for Arsenal, right? I mean, the man scored, I think he scored 30 goals and then he was gone. Like he finally hit the 20 goal mark and then he was gone, essentially. And it's like, you don't see that. You barely see that now. Now anybody hits 20, you're happy, right? What does everybody say? Can I get a 20 goal striker? And it's like, what? 30 used to be the mark that you were like, yes, I got 30 out of this guy. Now you're like 20, and you can't get 20, right? The leading scorers in the Premier League, like three out of the hundreds of players in the Premier League are hitting the 20 goal mark, right?
Yeah.
And only one of them might be a striker.
Yeah. I think we had Aubameyang when he was good, when he was in form. I think that was the last prolific goal scorer we had. Since then, we haven't really had a prolific goal scorer, really. We spread the load around the team, really. We've got loads of different goal scorers. But yeah, you're right. The days of the prolific goal scorers are really passing. I think Harry Kane, you got Haaland is a prolific striker, but even you can see even he's struggling at City, because City are playing they play so much more possession oriented. Even he's not scoring. Of course he managed to score 30 goals because the guy is an absolute phenom, but even he's not hitting the same amount of goals as he did in Germany. And we're moving away from that. We are seeing less and less proper strikers, aren't we?
I'll tell you who I think the last truly great striker is in football. Because, and I've not really seen one like him since, but it's
I don't even know. I'm
Bamford.
like,
Time.
I was laughing because I was like, which name were you pulling out of the hat today?
So welcome to a new segment called Bamford Time.
If there's anything
my
about
God.
a proper footballer, it's Bamford. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But no, in all seriousness,
yeah.
But they're dying out because again, you'd rather sacrifice one up front, keep the ball down the pitch.
Yeah.
And because you want to overload the midfield, and it's all this tactical nonsense, and it's the real tragedy of all this is, and I know you're gonna laugh when I say this, but it turned Sam Allardyce into like a laughing stock. But he is right. Like it's like if you do 30 passes, of which mainly 25 of them are going to be in and around your own box, and then you actually do the killer pass to advance the pitch and you score from it. But then you launch the ball 30 yards and the striker runs onto it and then buries it in the corner. You still both only get one goal for each one. Like there's actually you don't get no special points for putting together 700 passes. But everyone laughs at him for saying it. And it's like, but he's right. And you'll still cheer. If Arsenal score that goal in the first game in August, if Arsenal score a goal that's from a long ball, you'll still cheer it the same way as you would if it was a 30 pass move.
Yeah, it's the same, isn't it? It's a goal, isn't it?
Very, very true.
But football is just the fact of the matter is we see it go it's entertainment. It's a television show now, essentially. But it's based on a real sport. It's a sport. Their obligation is to win. So I always try and keep that in mind. But at the same time, it annoys me that my team was employing this possession-based football, and we're no better off for it right now.
Like I said, I always go back to when Leeds first came into the league. I enjoyed watching them play because you knew there's going to be high scoring one way or the other. Either one team or both teams were going to score. You saw that, and so either they were going to get smashed or it was going to be a really good game for you. All right, but it was going to be a good game. It was a little bit wide open, a little bit more, so that's more enjoyable, I think, than watch. Like I get the 0-0 games. But I don't get the 0-0 games, especially with the talent that you have on both sides. Like once in a while, an offensive player is going to make that play, right? That breaks things open and scores. Once in a while, that defender is going to make that play and stop you. But it seems to go more to the defender's side and not to the offensive players. One, because I think they don't practice enough. Like, I don't know about you guys. When I just remember playing football when I was younger, I guess they call it soccer over here, but when I was in England, we played football, right? What was the one thing you wanted to do?
Yeah.
What was the one thing everybody wanted to do?
Score.
Right? Exactly. I mean, that's like, it's not changed now, but it looks like it the way they play. Like, they don't even look like they practice enough. Like, the ball is coming, it has to come at them in a perfect way. It might bounce. No, if you put your foot through it, it doesn't matter if it's bouncing when it comes at you, right? If you put your foot through a ball, it doesn't matter if it was off the air or not. If it jumps up right in front of you, you put your foot through. Now you just see them kind of like pass it wide, and you're like, you weren't even trying to shoot. You know what I mean? So that's for me. I think that's like just doing the little things, like foot placement. That's for me. You have that standing foot in the right spot, the ball's gone. All right. That's what the best attackers will do that. Their foot placement is so good that no matter where that ball is, they're ready to go. Boom, ball's gone.
Yeah. Everyone would rather be Kevin De Bruyne because they'd rather be the guy that lays on the shot and not actually have the pressure of taking the shot.
Yeah.
Because once you've made that pass, if whether they score it or not, you don't look bad because you've made the chance. And I think it's ever evolving. Like players are becoming more risk adverse.
Yeah.
You lose money when you don't make the shot, right? Ask Werner, all right? That's Werner, right? He's scoring 30 goals in Germany, comes to England, can't score to save his life. He's gone back, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I said, big scorer comes to Arsenal, can't get it done. He's gone back, boom. Next thing you know, he's scoring 20 goals. And it's like, yes, England's probably a little bit of that, but I think the game has it's set up
Our
for you to
football's
do
so
that.
different, though.
Yeah.
It is so obviously different to every other style of football, which is why a lot of players say like it's genuinely true. There's a lot of foreign players who, when they come to the Premier League, they need very few of them actually. Like Thierry Henry, for example, wasn't particularly great in his first year at Arsenal. You have to have a year of adjusting to. Oh my God, this is a lot quicker than. It's not just necessarily about the passing, which is ironic because now it is about the passing. But at the time, the physicality is still prevalent in the Premier League compared to. Don't get me wrong, the referees don't ref it like it is, but it is by the very nature of how competitive and how much money it means. And you see it all the time when a referee fucks up a decision or VAR gets it wrong. The first thing players say is, "Have you seen?" Or players or chairman or managers go, "There's so much money riding on this." I'm like, that shouldn't actually be the concern. It should be winning. But obviously it's not, because the amount of money you get for winning is so significant.
Yeah, they're
More
trying to protect.
significant than it's
Yeah,
ever been at any point in football.
yeah, they're trying to protect the product, but the product is bad, right? Like I get it, like you're trying to protect your product, but the product's bad because they're not clinical, they're not skillful, they're not talented like they have been, right? Like you're not protecting anything right now, as far as I'm concerned, because they're not that good, right? You see a player kick it from well outside the box, top corner. The next 5, 6 shots are well off the mark, and you're like, but you showed you can do it. But then if you
It's
do it
like,
enough, why can't it happen again? So I kind of feel like,
great examples of
yeah,
how teams
yeah,
can blame the decision or whatever, but it's still ultimately their fault, is, for example, Arsenal against Brentford. And I've got one for my own team, so I'm not just digging out your team. But the fact of the matter is, it happened at a time in a game where basically the only reason you didn't then win from then on was because you put on your boo-boo face. Because, we didn't get the decision that went our way. And then you fucking carry it, because then if you don't actually go on to win that game, you've got it in your back pocket. That's why we never won. Even though I'm pretty sure you had 15 minutes to overturn whatever happened anyway. And to dig out my own team, we had even longer to overturn this. The one when Bamford got called offside for pointing where he wanted the ball. It's an atrocious decision, and it's so bad they actually changed the rules on it. But in the moment, it's like, okay, well, do it again.
yeah,
Do it
yeah.
again, and
That,
maybe not
but
point.
see, but that's a mentality thing, right? Like
Yeah, because then
nobody,
they're
like
like, we got robbed.
you can't miss any shots you don't take, right? So you don't take any shots, and then guess what? But we want them to take those damn shots, all right? Because the more they take them, the more they're gonna make them in the end of the day when you think about it. But if you don't take them, we're like, well, you just wasted a chance, right? Don't waste a trip is a thing. I say it all the time at the end of the show. Dude, you're in there you're in the box. As soon as you're in the box, the only thing that matters at that point is putting that ball in the net, right past the goalkeeper. That's the only thing that matters. And we don't care how it happens, right? But you got to take the shot. You got to make the motion towards the goal. Players don't even do that. Like I think it's a mentality thing. Like they're thinking probably about something else and not putting up all, like you got to have some rolls on the pitch. Like a defender's last roll is you're not getting that ball off your toe. I'm going to take it off your toe before you even have a chance, right? The same thing applies to the attacker. I'm going to get my foot on this ball before you even have to think about trying to block it, and that doesn't happen. So it's a mentality thing, and that kind of comes into this whole Brownie talking about players smashing each other, like they're all trying to protect themselves and not like actually play football. It's not a contact sport, but there will be contact. Two players coming at a ball, there is going to be contact.
If you look at the way, I mean, I agree. It was a lot more fun when there was a lot more the good old tackling involved and all of that, like it used to be. I mean, if you look, I've seen some clips. They show these clips now and again on social media. You look at the early Premier League games from like 92, 93. And there's a special there's this great clip of a few like there's highlights of basically when Wimbledon played Man United. I think it was 93 or 94. I can't remember exactly. It was either 93 or 94.
United wearing the gold and green kit by any chance?
Yeah. And I think Wimbledon are wearing the red.
Yeah.
And basically basically Wimbledon, their tactics at that time, if they played a good team like Man United, they would just cut in players down. They were any good players, they just cut them down. And back then you could get away with it. And they were showing the highlights, some of the highlights of that game. Vinnie Jones just basically went in 2-footed and cut down Roy Keane, a couple of other their players I can't remember now. He just went in, just absolutely battered them, but didn't even get a yellow card. Fashanu as well, when he was up front for Wimbledon, he was a big, powerful striker, and he used to just go around bashing people, and he didn't even get a yellow card, and it was just crazy to watch. And you'd think today there's just no way anyone would get anywhere close to that, without getting a sending off. And it's to do with what Tom said. It's about protecting the product, protecting the players. Of course, nowadays you got to be a lot more careful. You want players to not be injured. I get it, because they're valuable assets. The players are valuable assets. There's a lot of money that goes into them, in wages, sponsorship, insurance, everything. So, you don't want your players injured. So, of course, you don't really want to play that type of style anymore and get away with it. I understand that. But at the same time, you sort of miss that little bit of being able to, go in and give a bit more and, put a bit more power into what's happening. But yeah, that's the old days, and the football changes, it all evolves. But I just want to say one more thing about talking about the strikers, and all that, scoring less goals and all that. You can see the way they play now. It's about taking less risk. They're not taking the chances when they're clear. They'll pass the ball, have an extra pass. They wait now until there's an absolutely clear goal scoring chance until they shoot. Hardly anyone takes a pop at the ball now. Like, that's what Ian Wright was a master at. Ian Wright that was his forte. He instinctively knew in his brain, that was one of the great instincts he had. He knew where the goal was. If he had his back to the goal, he wasn't looking at the goal. He just knew where the goal was, and he would just have a pop. He would take one touch, a half touch, and have a pop at the goal, and he scored like that so many times when you think, oh, he's not going to score from there, but he did. And there's a lot less of that now in football. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, you would think an attacker who's practicing, I would think day after day, shooting at a goal, doesn't really need to look at the goal that often. Just needs to get a glimpse of a post and know which side of the post they want to hit, right?
Yeah.
Because if you pick a corner, any corner, top, bottom, middle, whatever, top or bottom, left or right, you kind of score. But a lot of times we see these shots coming off, and they're the easy shots. They're right back, straight, right at the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper doesn't even, I say it all the time, goalkeeper never even moves. You can't test the goalkeeper if you kick it right at him. I mean, they're too strong right now. The ball basically barely ever bounces off them when it comes in. They basically just stab it out of the air. And it's like I said, it's the football has changed, and I get why some people aren't, the old people aren't impressed with it.
No, it becomes more boring, doesn't it? It's like the games in the Euros. So many of the games have been boring to watch because teams are just not taking any risks. That's why I thought Georgia were great to watch, because Georgia they were like, fuck it, let's attack, let's score goals, and they won everyone's hearts over by doing that. Oh yeah, good old Mabbott. Gary Mabbott was a Tottenham defender, and that Fashanu, as I told you about, the Wimbledon striker, big, strong lad. One day he just elbowed Mabbott in the face, and it busted his eye socket, and he actually took him to court over it.
Nice, yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing. It's something. I mean, I'm always going to take it back to what I do know. Like, and there's a referee, like where they throw the flag. they used to have like beads in it, and the referee threw the flag. The bead came down, went into a player's helmet, hit him in the eye, and I don't know if it blinded him, but it definitely severely damaged his eye.
Oh god.
So they don't even use. So like that's how protected the players needed to be, because so a little flag went in to hurt him. But like yes, it's like back in the days, the guys just like, all right, let's go and let's play on, right? Is your arm is not in your socket. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. The next hit, I'll put it back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the show Fantasy Football League, that used to obviously be in England in the mid-90s, I remember this Gary Mabbott thing purely because they did a skit where it was a quick joke where they basically, one of them held up a VHS tape and they'd pulled out all the tape. And they went, oh, what's this? And they went, oh, it must be Gary Mabbott again.
Oh god.
It was always stuck with me. But yeah, and, Aston Villa and Everton are now engaging in more financial fraud. So,
yeah. Bronny went after your famous manager here, so there you go.
Well, I know he's not talking about Bielsa because Brownie wouldn't be that brave to go after Bielsa, knowing that Bielsa would have him killed. He wouldn't go after a man that literally walked out of his house holding a grenade. So then the other, I believe it was when he managed, when he managed, who was it? No, I think it was Newell's Old Boys or something like that. Basically, they'd lost a big game and the fans came down. They wanted to confront him because he was open about where he lived, all that. And he went, all right, we'll go and have a talk about it. And he came out holding a live grenade and allegedly they all ran off and that. And he went, no, come on, let's keep talking. You want to talk about my team selection? He said, let's have a conversation.
Oh, man. You know what? On that note, and not as a transition note, but it's a good time to. I told everybody I got this little video. I created it, 3 minutes. It's just like today, as I've said for those who were here when we first joined. This is the 100th show of the road trip. It started out as the summer spot, but then quickly changed into the road trip after about 2 shows.
Hey.
But I just took a snippet from the first show. And I think you'll laugh. Let me find it here. Yeah. And so here we go. Enjoy. I'll put it out there on the YouTube in a separate video. But here we go. To DWTT. I am Gary. This is our, as I call the summer spot, or summer stop, actually. Not the trip, but the stop. So this is our midsummer or our first show of the summer. So we'll go ahead and get started. First off, I've got welcome back, Sam. How are you doing?
Good evening, Gary, and everyone else. Nice to see you guys.
Cool. And then we've got right below him, we've got Mr. Tom. How are you doing?
Greetings to everyone out there in the YouTube land.
Nice. And then in the Witness Protection Program, we've got he used to go by the name of Tony, but now it's Wilfred. I just made that up. So Wilfred, tell us about what's going on with you.
Turn the sound on, Wilfred.
Oh, jeez. First is no video, now there's no sound.
So,
yeah. Tony, we'll get this sorted out.
Are we just talking to the chalk outline of Tony? For the rest of...
He's like his face has been hidden, so he's one of those. He's on a documentary, can't be shown.
Yes.
All right. You see, Steve is in the house. Steve, welcome. I was just testing this thing out yesterday, and Steven from Canada jumped in and
Wilfred's
said hello.
About to tell everyone where he was touched.
And then there we go. Now we've got lights, we've got power, and next thing I know, I had a full-blown show going. So
Wilfred's going to tell us where Hoffa's buried.
All right, go ahead, talk to us. Can you talk to us? No.
You know he's talking because you know he can't just sit there in silence. You know he.
I don't figure that. Wilfred, what's the CIA not paying this for you?
What's going on? Do they give you Wi-Fi?
CIA is cheaping you on the Wi-Fi.
I see him smiling, but I don't see the lips moving, so I can't tell if he's actually saying something.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
look at that.
Yes, turning on the microphone will help.
Why are you inventing things? You said about 20% of that is what you actually said.
Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll do this again in a week, or hopefully we'll do it in a week. We'll see about that. I'll let you guys know. I'll put the warning up there. So, as I always like to say, life is a
Arsenal
journey.
get business done so we can have a show.
Outro, Tony. Shut it. Life is a journey.
Tony gets to carry on, Tony can.
Enjoy the ride. And we'll do this thing again. Everybody say, and we're out, and we'll do this again. See ya. Yeah.
Tony, doing as he always does.
Yeah.
And we never saw Tony for the preceding. Is that preceding the right way? Basically, he was not seen again for the next 99 episodes.
That is probably, yeah, it's true. Oh my.
Well, congratulations on the 100th. Wow, I didn't know it was that, but it's gone by quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah. 2 summers ago we started this thing, so yeah. So we'll try it out and see how we like it. And I think we like it. I think everybody likes it. So
yeah, we enjoy the road trip.
Yeah.
We let Tom drive, and we just know it's going to end up in a fucking burning wreck somewhere.
It's true. But yeah, it's quite enjoyable. I like that would have actually started roughly about the same time that this show tends to end. So it's funny how the show's evolved into why are we starting the show when the football finished? Why don't we talk about the football while it's happening?
Very true. Yeah. That was true. Yeah.
It's
good to do the
realization on our part.
Yeah. And football news, because we've talked about football, but not anything to do with at least our club teams. Onana looks like he's on the verge of signing. Aston Villa needs to replace Douglas Luiz, so Onana looks like the guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking. Maybe I have my Arsenal hat on. But I thought when Arsenal was interested in Onana, it was, they need something. He's not at that level. But I feel like with Aston Villa looking at Onana, it's like, why can't Arsenal do business like that? You know, they let a player go to bring in another player to replace him. Arsenal doesn't do that, it seems. But any thoughts on Onana?
Well,
Nana.
Of course, he's a good player, but I don't know. You just think maybe he's not quite that same level as he used to be. Because I mean, you would think maybe bigger teams would be in for him if he was really that top level. Yeah, I mean, I know Arsenal. We're looking at other targets in that area. We've got that Marino guy, whatever he's called, down in Spain. We're looking at him for that position to come in and help. But yeah, I mean, Villa obviously needs to replace Luis. Where did Luis go in the end? I forgot.
He went to Juventus, I believe, with his
Juventus,
girlfriend.
Yeah,
his girlfriend is there as well. So
right, so he went off to Juventus. So yeah, obviously have to replace him. So yeah, I mean, Villa are able to attract bigger players now, aren't they? Obviously, with Emery and them getting into Europe and all of that. So yeah, it's not really a big surprise, but I would have thought maybe bigger teams would have gone for him.
Yeah, so, you know what? Now it's making a little bit more sense. So we started our show, and then a few weeks later, Brownie decided he was done with watching our show.
Poor old Brownie.
No one's going to go offline.
Oh God,
but no, I kid. But yeah, good to have you back, Brownie. But
yeah, it's good to have him back.
Yeah. He's a killer in the midfield. Okay, for me, I remember Caicedo being a killer in the midfield. I don't remember Onana being a killer like that as much. He does some of it, but like a Caicedo, I remember him a little bit more. I don't know, but is Caicedo a bigger killer in the midfield than Onana because he brings a lot more as well, or no? They're about the same.
I think maybe Caicedo is probably maybe slightly better. I don't know. I don't think Caicedo's really set the world alight either, has he, since he made his move? But yeah, Onana, I think, is a bit, but he's not really consistent. I think that's his performances are not quite consistent, because I remember seeing him play a real stinker for Everton once as well. So yeah, maybe he's just that consistency's not quite there. Like Brownie says, he's not always starting games for Everton either. So maybe his level has dropped a little bit. But I can't really say for certain, because I haven't followed him or Everton that closely, to be honest.
Nah, this stinks. This absolutely stinks of FFP fraud, or whatever whatever the rule, like SPSR, whatever they're calling it. Like, they're buying a player that's not a first teamer for £50 million, and you're going to tell me that's on the up and up? No chance. I would not surprise me if it turns out that a player went the other way from one of their youth teams for a similar amount of money, and then they're basically both on the quids up, and then they can go and buy what they really want. The strikes me as absolute filth. It's not illegal.
But Onana's not a nobody, is he?
In my act, he is.
He plays for the national team, right?
Yeah, he's not a nobody. He's not like one of these youth players that have been selling for 20 million for nothing.
But I don't know. I just got the feeling there's just something dodgy about it.
Yeah, well, there's loads of dodgy crap going on now. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if you're interested, Callum Chambers is available.
Tony wants him. Tony loves Callum Chambers.
I will say this though. There's a comment from Big Scanner saying Onana's a killer in the midfield, but I would say he was not as much of a killer in the midfield as Lee Hughes was up front.
The good old Lee Hughes, yeah. Good old goal scorer.
For death by dangerous driving. The 90s reference.
Oh God! But was it? Who did he play up front for? Was it Double B West Brom?
I believe he did. Yeah, he played West Brom, Coventry. He had 2 stints for West Brom, actually.
Because he had a couple of seasons where he was scoring a lot of goals, wasn't he? And then I think a few teams wanted him.
Yeah, up to 2001, he scored 79 league goals in 4 years, which obviously for West Brom is pretty good. However, mysteriously, his career sort of dropped off around 2003.
Yeah.
When he killed someone.
God, yeah. God.
And I don't need to say allegedly, because he was convicted for it. So anyway, well, let's saying that a lot of people are convicted for things they didn't actually do, but still. And basically, then he went from there to the heavy heights of Blackpool on loan, Notts County, Port Vale, Forest Green Rovers, Ilkeston, Worcester City, Telford.
Worcester. Oh God.
And he recently turned out in 2022 for Stour Poor Swifts.
Wow.
Who I believe are in the Midlands League Premier Division. So,
wow.
At least he stayed local to
Cool. Yeah, so if Onana was to join Arsenal, would he start? And if he started, would he push Rice up the pitch, right?
Yeah, I mean, he would probably be playing in that deep seated role, and Rice would go up, be pushed up a bit. Yeah, but I just don't think Onana's quite at the level he used to be, to be honest. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
And the thing that we would still lack, which is the thing that Rice needs to work on, is just make that first pass. He doesn't want to make that first pass because it might not connect. But that's the first pass is the one that he should make, because that opens up the opponent's defense and gives us a chance to punish them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he won't make that pass, and it's like he'll take the safe route a lot of times and just hold the ball, and the defense collapses. It's too late. So yeah, that's what I mean. When Partey is healthy, and he does that for us. He can't make any defensive stances like running back for sure. He's not going to catch anybody, but I think I might have saw one of the last times he was good when I when I saw him playing in that North
Yeah, well,
London derby.
Partey's been far too inconsistent for my liking.
Yeah.
He's just
no,
up and down, up and
no
down.
respect for Callum Chambers because on 10th of March 2022 he scored against Leeds. So he can go fuck himself.
If he's going to Cardiff, that just shows Cardiff are collecting all the crap, aren't they?
There you go. Yeah, you know what? That is the elixir, right? If you want,
Well,
if you want,
we used to be linked to him, didn't we, a couple of seasons ago? So this is probably
Yeah.
just coming around again now, isn't it?
yeah. But if you
Yeah,
put,
who ain't
if you
Arsenal
put,
linked
if you
to?
put, if you put Arsenal, like if you put Arsenal anywhere in an article, you're gonna get response because we're gonna respond. Our fans are gonna respond, right?
Yeah,
And then everybody else is gonna respond because it's Arsenal is listed in there.
yeah.
Right? Everybody has all this hate for Arsenal, but they love us. Can't
Oh,
stop
yeah.
talking about us.
We're always in the front and centre, aren't we?
Oh, we offered Zlatan Ibrahimovic a trial. It's like so did AOL probably. Like
Yeah, those kind of conversations are like, well, you missed out. So that means your talent, your eye for talent is not that good because they didn't either. You can't sell, or your eye for talent is bad. Which one is it?
if he was French, you'd have definitely took him at the time.
Talking about Ibrahimovic,
No chance.
his trial when he went to he was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If,
he wasn't
I'd
very
go
good
for
at
a
that
trial.
time.
You know
It wasn't-
what? Outside of his goal against England at the Euros like 12 years ago, anytime I saw him actually play live, like at the time it would have been on ITV for the Champions League or something, he was shit. But he was this player that everyone would be like, oh, he's amazing, he's the best, he's brilliant. And then I'd watch him and I'd be like, the fuck are you all talking about? He's not even trying to get the ball. It's terrible.
Yeah, no, it took a long time at Ajax. It took a long time to sort of get into, becoming a good player. Develop. It took a little while to develop there, but yeah, he basically scored a worldie. That fantastic goal where he dribbled like the whole defense and scored that goal, and that just launched his career. He went from there to Juventus, didn't he?
Where he went from doing nothing at Juventus to then joining Inter, doing not much with them. No, if I remember rightly, he had the distinction of being the reverse Samuel Eto'o, where basically he went from Barcelona to Inter Milan, or it was something like this, where basically Inter Milan won the Champions League, or Barcelona won the Champions League with Samuel Eto'o. So then they did a swap. They basically bought Ibrahimovic from Inter, and Eto'o went the other way, and then Inter won the Champions League. So Samuel Eto'o was sat there with 2 Champions League medals, and Ibrahimovic was sat there going, "Oh, I don't like Pep because he favours Messi."
He went to AC Milan as well, didn't he? Later on.
Yeah, there's not an elite team he hasn't played for apart from Leeds United, and we wouldn't take him because he
Been
played
everywhere. Been everywhere.
Well, you know what? As he got older, he could back it up, though, right? As he, you know.
Well, he's had some good performances, hasn't he?
Yeah,
But he's like Tom says, he's had plenty of bad performances as well.
He is a fine. Like I will say it now. He's a great footballer, but there was a time where I just didn't see it. But it was one of them. I'd always hear about it, and then when I watched him, it wouldn't be there, and I'd be like, it felt a bit like Morata in the way that I can't say Morata is the worst player I've ever seen that commands the transfer fees that he does, and I'm like.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I don't watch him on a weekly basis. I'm happy to say, so there's something obviously happening that I'm not seeing. So I'm not saying it ain't happening. I'm just saying it happens that I
agree on Morata.
Yeah.
And also another one that is like that. I've literally seen him play quite a few games actually for Atletico Madrid and France. I've never seen him play a good game, and that's Griezmann. I've never seen Griezmann play a good game.
Yeah. But
don't get all the Griezmann hype. I really don't.
When the lights shine bright, then he hides, right? But then he's consistent enough when the lights are off that you're like, all right, he must be good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he did have 2 trebles, Samuel Eto'o, but he's no Colo Torre with 2 undefeated seasons, though, is he? he's a double invincible. Admittedly, being an invincible with Celtic, you know, that's like being told like you're the nicest guy in the prison gang, I suppose. But it's you know, it's yeah, you can't Celtic should have like 5 unbeaten years, basically, in a row, for me to even respect them.
Celtic should basically be severely punished if they don't win the league.
Yeah,
that's how simple it is for them to win the Scottish Premier League. That if they don't win, they should be deducted 50 points for the next season.
Yeah, it's like PSG, right? If you go to PSG and you don't come away with a couple trophies after a contract, then why did you even go there?
You have to be Pochettino, basically, the touch of death. Wherever he always goes to a top team and they just fucking plummet when he goes there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means. I need you guys to translate this for me. This is actually something I want to. Okay.
The BBC has interviewed Amin Abed while he was actually in his bed. I heard they'll be talking to his brother shitting later on.
that was quite funny. I saw that clip. He's lying there in his bed, and his name comes up. Amin Abed, and it's just Amin Abed, you know. Yeah, funny.
For a second, I was like, "There's a joke in there, and I don't know what it is, but the joke is in there."
Quite funny when you see it.
That's crazy. Oh man, wow! This is
I'll tell you something though.
Yep.
When someone says, "Where were you when Michael Jackson died?" I can tell you exactly where I was. I was thinking of a joke about Michael Jackson dying. Because the internet just because smartphones were a thing, but really you were still in the infancy of color. Basically, the highest technology in 2009 was a maybe iPhone or something, but at the same time it was basically, oh, my phone's got a color picture on it, sort of thing. Anyway, so yeah, I was basically you could even tell the TV reporters at the time because obviously it was a big deal, and even he would pull face to the camera, the news reporter, occasionally like, I've just got one. Like thinking of a joke. Like, I just thought of one. I was like, yeah, please share it.
Oh god.
But, sorry, just
poor old
Michael Jackson jokes.
Yeah, this is the mind of Mr. Tom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you want to know. Sometimes you want not.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it was a big shock though when it happened. I remember a lot of people, were quite shocked that he passed away. It was unexpected.
And you know what? I feel like one of the reasons why he died is like you get that bug, that thing called fame. You don't want to let it go. You do everything you can to hold on to that thing. I feel like he did that. I feel like Prince did that. A lot of people try to do that stuff and then they end up killing themselves over it. And you know what?
Well, they're on all kinds of drugs and medication as well, aren't they? All of that stuff as well. That's no good. And all of a sudden, you get too much of this, too much of that. It's all of a sudden it goes wrong, doesn't it?
If Uri Geller really was a psychic, maybe he should have told his mate Michael Jackson that you should be careful today, Mike. But anyway, what was the difference between Michael Jackson and a grocery bag?
Oh God.
One is white, made out of plastic, and is dangerous for kids to play with. And the other, you just carry your groceries in.
God. I like it. It's good.
Yes.
What did Michael Jackson consider a perfect 10?
No. 2
5-year-olds.
No.
Oh, God.
No, let's move on to something else. How do we get to this? How do we get
I
here?
don't know.
I may
don't
have
know.
enabled the situation. I may
It's
have.
random. It's random as
You know what
usual.
it was? You like, well, if
One
if
more.
if,
Why were Michael
if
Jackson's
Alonso's
pants so
not
small?
gonna do it, I'm gonna just do it.
Because they weren't his.
What?
Why were Michael Jackson's pants so small?
Oh God.
Because they weren't his. Right,
That is
sorry,
bad.
I'll stop.
Brownie,
I'll stop.
give us
That's
something
bad.
else to talk about quickly.
Oh
This
God.
guy's this we're going. The road's getting bumpy. I don't know. Did I just see a sign that said bridge out? I don't know.
I don't know. We've definitely gone off the road. Definitely gone off the road here. Jesus.
White guys, they drive like this. No.
But anyway, I've got to make a move, Gary. I've got some stuff I need to get done. So,
Cool.
but thanks for having me on. Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
It's been
no,
nice to see you. I'll probably join again next week.
Cool. We'll be here. We'll
So,
try and do this every Saturday. And there might be Saturdays where it's Mr. Tom only.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, nice to see you guys and catch you guys next week. Yeah, everyone in the chat, have a good weekend. Everyone in the chat, nice to see you, and we will. I'll see you again next week.
Cool. See you. Thank you
Yes,
for joining
Bye-bye.
us. Yep. Bye. And then Ryan has joined us, and I guess you'll see Ryan back on. Yeah, the Lord is back, and he came on it. You came on and he left. So I don't know what you just did, Ryan, but the man left as soon as you said hi. No, he was probably looking at eyeing that clock. We've hit the hour mark here. We do about 90 minutes every day, every time we do this.
Full Alonso.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody joins and he takes off. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. No, I wanted to say I was going to look at some of my bookmarks because I know that's something I would like to talk about once in a while. But yeah, get away from what you were talking about. That's kind of more the thing is to get away from what you're talking about. So Arsenal has made at least 2 exits. Tavage and Lakanga they're out the door officially. It sounds. Tavage is permanently. Tavage is permanently. Where did Tavage go? He has gone to. Well, let's go with Lakanga because I know that one. Lakanga. He is going to Sevilla on a loan. If it's an option to buy, if it works out, he'll be gone for about 12 million euros and 25% sell-on clause. So that's going to happen. I think he had a choice to go to another team. I forget the name, but he wanted to go to Sevilla. I think the other team was going to pay for him, but he wanted to go to Sevilla. I always, when I hear that, I'm like, does he just want to make sure he can come back to Arsenal, or does he really want to go out there and actually, play some football and maybe make a name for himself somewhere else? I think when you have that comeback clause, I think you can lose out, and I think that you can make that can hurt you. So I kind of feel like players should just go, like sever the ties. And Tavage is gone, and where is Tavage going? Nuno Tavage, he is going. I just saw this a second ago here. Where is it? I'm gonna have to type it in here because let's see, Portuguese player.
Does he realise that
Lazio.
Sevilla are not in the Europa League?
That's what I think was a little interesting about why it's like I could have swore there was another team interested in him, and he didn't want to go there because and I was like, why wouldn't he want to go there? So he's going to Sevilla, like you said, and there was another team interested in him that I think would have probably been more of a challenge, So this one, he goes there, they want him. They have a buy clause in there. Maybe he will do a good job and not necessarily not come back because he's done such a good job. Yeah, I don't like this having his players hanging on. So he looked like he was okay for Luton. So, but I don't know. Oh, and I think Arsenal has the ability to hold on to him for another year if he does come back, which I don't like that either, because all you're doing is pushing out the inevitable that they'll walk for free.
I suppose you do the loans because then you hope that they play their value back up. So, because if you have them at your club and then you don't play them, you're losing value on that player. Whereas you hope you can maximise that by them showing someone else that they are worth paying for.
Yep. Yep.
Ultimately.
No, I get the idea behind it, but I feel like that's all, a lot of that's on that player because that's the only person that makes a difference. And then they seem to go, and next thing you hear is, you know, is their practice isn't the way they practice isn't good, and you're like, what? All you have, this is your job. If you you know what I mean, like you need to practice well, and Arteta says that, right? He says it all the time. You know, I hear that all the time that teams players that he picks based on the way that they practice. And when he goes somewhere, and that's one of the things they bring up, I'm like, that doesn't sound right at all. So, but yep. So those two players are out the door right now, it seems, and looks like the Wimbledon is done. I think the Chezia lady has won, if I got that right.
I fell out of the loop on tennis. Like,
is that Chezia? I don't even know what.
Yeah, basically the lady from the Czech Republic.
Korjakova, yeah. It was she was up 5-4, and actually the Italian lady Paolina had a chance to break her and make it 5-5, but wasn't able to do it, and voila, loses 6-4 in that third set. I think it was the first Italian in the final for a while, so there you go. The Italian player is the first player in one calendar year to be in the final of Wimbledon and the French Open. It doesn't happen too often. There's like a handful of players that have done it in a season, in a calendar year, play in both finals. So she's got to both finals, but she has not won either one. So she's probably one of the only players to not have won because the names are some of the greatest players out there. So, but yeah, so that is the Wimbledon for those who enjoy the tennis. Yep, yeah. Paulina loses in the Wimbledon final. Yep.
I used to love Wimbledon. Wow.
And then for the men, what is it? Men is Djokovic and
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz. Yes. So that should be a good one because I think Alcaraz won last time they played in a final. So we'll see. Alcaraz is like struggled in the first set a lot this Wimbledon. Ain't she Ghanaian? Don't. Funny. No. So.
How many times has Djokovic won Wimbledon? Just trying to look it up now.
He's won it a lot because French Open is one thing he has, like anything else, nobody wins that too often. But I think Wimbledon, he's won that multiple times for sure. Yeah. Are you a Djokovic fan?
No, not really, because I'm not going to do the political thing of because he didn't get vaccinated. I'm not a fan of him. I'm just not a fan of anyone who always wins at one thing, because then it's boring. But I respect that he's very good at tennis. Of course he is. Of course he's very good, and he's probably going to break the record. But I don't think he would have 7 if he had come along. If he'd been born at the same time as Roger Federer and Nadal, he probably wouldn't have 7 Wimbledons.
Yeah, well, he can, but you don't get to pick when you go pro and when you're going to have your time, right? Because like right now, nobody won French Open unless Nadal was injured. That's the only time somebody's ever won it, right? Like Federer would not have gotten a career Grand Slam if it wasn't for an injury to Nadal. I mean, the man won like double digits in like a 15-year period. I mean, nobody wins it, So it might not be your time because that's like Sampras, right? Sampras played the wrong. Is it Sampras played the wrong time or?
Yeah,
There's
he came along before. He
Yeah.
sort of, I think Federer beat him at the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
But it's very similar. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's good and bad timing, right? Like,
yeah.
if you think about it, it was either Federer was winning everything, and then Nadal would win once in a while on the other surfaces, but the French was his. And Djokovic just came in at the younger period as those guys were getting injured and older and not finishing tournaments, right? So, and he's been able to hold on. Nobody else has been able to. Like Alcaraz looked good, but then he hasn't been consistent enough to like always be in the finals. So he's the next up and coming player. Everybody else is like here today, gone tomorrow, and then they're back again. So it's fun, interesting. The last two Wimbledon winners have from the same country. So and that's just also another thing in the women's game. The number one player in the world, not in the final. You know. And,
Tennis is a sport which puts more emphasis on the rankings than anything. But at the same time, there always used to be questions, and in the sense that basically you weren't the true number one player in tennis until you beat Serena Williams. If you won a tournament beating Serena Williams, then you won the tournament. Because that rarely happened. Yes. Whereas there were players, I think, I may be wrong, like Caroline Wozniacki was one I think of, was always world number one, but never, when it then came round to May and June, or July, whatever, it'd be like fourth round exit. But because she was so good in tournaments, basically, that were beneath Serena Williams being in, without being disrespectful to any of these tennis tournaments, though you only really got a true gauge of how good the players were at the slams.
Yeah, I was saying that to my wife. I was like, the one thing that the way that they were brought into the sport, the Williams sisters, not too soon. Everybody was like, why is their dad holding them back from playing? And I think the reason why is because guess what? When they finally did come in, they stayed for a very long time at the top of their game. I think a lot of players come in sometimes a little too young, and then they might win the one major, but then the wear and tear of being professional and at the top of your league, it's tough, and a lot of times they break down either mentally, physically, and all of that, and they don't last, right? But as you see, like the Williams sisters, like there's 10-year spans. Venus was up there, Serena, 10-year span, 15-year span, up there, some of the best in the game, right? Same thing with the men. Sometimes you see them coming in a little bit young, not too many of them come in young enough because you can't. But when they do, they usually stick around. Like right now, like I said, it's only Alcaraz right now of the young guns that's out there. Otherwise, you're just like waiting for Djokovic to basically retire at some point because he's the last of the big ones, the last of the big three.
Yeah, I think tennis I think it'll become much more interesting when Djokovic goes away. Because it'll be more wide open.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So hi to Dad.
Hello, Phil.
Yeah, my sister's also. I don't know if she's still listening, but she was on the Instagram. So cool. Thank you for joining us, family. Yeah.
But more importantly than anything tennis related is if Richard Williams hadn't have had the kids trained the way that he did, Will Smith wouldn't have embarrassed himself on the biggest night of his life, because they wouldn't have become the stars that they were, and Will Smith wouldn't have made a film about it, leading to him being in the same room at the same time as Chris Rock, making a joke about his wife, who was also in the same room at the same time. And then he walked over and whomped him in the face. And
so it's Richard Williams' fault all that happened.
Yeah, basically. Okay. I mean, I'm not even saying in a bad way. I'm just saying cause and effect, isn't it? There's actions have consequences, as Chris Rock found out, and Will Smith found out.
Very true. Sure. Sounds like he's
But,
back on the men's now. So, yeah.
yeah, he's Bad Boys 4, I believe, was him.
Yeah.
Good decision. It was a good decision to that one because no one's
Yeah.
going to hate him as Mike Lowry.
That
But
is true.
still, but he was good as Richard Williams. I've seen the film; it was good.
Oh, no, I haven't seen the film, but I just remember you remember I just remember watching the kind of progression of them from getting only a few tournaments a season and people going, why are they holding them back to when they finally did say, all right, you're off, you're off the trainers now. Now it's time to go full go, and they did really well, continued it. So as I've heard all these people asking for can you give us some of the best siblings out there in sports, and they just name off all these men, and it's and one player's like the Williams sisters, and he's like, you're right. What sibling pairing out there is done better than them?
I mean, they're elite in there. That they were 1 and 2. For it was a.
Yeah.
I always thought Venus was a better player than Serena, but the record doesn't show that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then they were saying that he was holding Serena back so that Venus could have her shine, and it could be true, but it also what more could she have done in her career? If she came out earlier, would that have made a difference? No, probably not. She probably would just finish sooner. That's all, because the body just wears the wear and tear of the sport. And that's kind of what led her to be out of the game now. So,
but yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah.
If you can see it, it's good. I think it's on Netflix. Good film.
Okay, if it's on Netflix, then I should be able to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
UK Netflix. I'm assuming it'll be on your one as well. But yeah, it's good. Good film. It's a solid enough film. I mean, admit the one thing with movies of that nature is I sit there I know how this there's no they try and ratchet up the tension but it's but I know they go on to become tennis superstars. And he's sitting there going oh, how am I going to afford this training or whatever? And I'm like, but I know you do find a way to do it. So the tension's not what they think the tension is. I know you have to tell the story and such. I'm guessing there were elements of it where obviously Richard Williams was how am I going to pay for this or whatever? But at the same time, I'm sitting there but I know that they go on to win all the trophies. Essentially.
Yep. So no, they had a good career, those ladies. So good.
I thought Coach Carter was a good film because they didn't win.
Yeah, I don't know how it ended, but I do know a lot of the big snippets in that one. So yeah, I don't think I've seen the entire movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it, like the practice scenes and the new kids coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's really, the one with
Samuel Jackson,
Tatum Channing or whatever? Is it?
Yeah, Channing Tatum.
They basically they start doing the push-ups or whatever for him. Is that a different movie? I get them all confused.
No, you're right. Yeah, I think that's a scene in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's asking them to do all these push-ups and sit-ups, and then one of the players I'll do some of it for you. Next thing you know, the entire team's doing it, and it's and that just shows that's that team, the team, all right. It's for the team, all right, and that is the difference between sports today and in the past. Today, they say team, but do they really know what that means sometimes, right? Do they really know what that when one of your players takes a hard foul from another player, is there somebody right there going step? Don't sometimes no, that player is rolling around on the ground by themselves, right? And nobody's there. So yeah.
I mean, my issue with that movie is similar to most movies, I suppose, is I watched it because it's Samuel Jackson, but then I'm not watching it. It's not Ken Carter. It's just Samuel Jackson being a basketball coach.
Yeah. Well,
and
it's like watching him in Die Hard, and you're like, that's not Samuel L. Jackson. That's not Pulp Fiction Samuel L. Jackson. That's not the Avengers Samuel L. Jackson. That's not like The Negotiator, which I think I enjoyed a lot. That's
Good
not
film,
that guy. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it gets to the stage where like it's really hard for him to become the character he's playing because it's just him doing the lines essentially. And I'm not saying he's bad at it, but that's more on me or the audience because it's
Mhm.
like with Samuel Jackson, we have an expectation. He's going to sit there at one point and go, I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane or whatever. And that's the best part in that film, by the way. Like, I'll happily waste an hour waiting for that line and then I'll turn off the film or turn over the channel because I'm like, no, I've seen it for the bit I want to see. And that's it. But
True.
no, good. It was good. But yeah, and I get that like the Coach Carter really did like lock the gym and things like that's like I've seen it. It's a real thing that happened. So
Yeah.
they've not exaggerated that the key element of why it's a movie.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
ultimately, it's just
this is a
Samuel
crazy
Jackson.
day. Dr. Ruth has died at 96. So, oof. For those who used to watch, is it daytime TV? Dr. Ruth would be on that. So, oof.
Mary Shelley died the other day. Not Mary Shelley. Lady from she wrote Frankenstein. So I don't know why I said that. The lady from The Shining.
Hmm.
If anyone's seen that movie, which I imagine most people would have.
Yeah. You mean the mother, right?
Yeah.
The mother from the...
Yeah, I've got a name. Like,
Is she's the one from the Kane oh, what is it called? I don't know what it's called. I don't know. Was she what other movie was she in?
According to Stan, because I brought it up on Thursday, she was Olive Oil in the Popeye movie, which I have never seen.
Okay.
But a quick search on the internet, she was in The Shining, The Forest Hills, Fairy Tale.
Oh, you know what? Somebody was showing on my friends in WhatsApp from college. They had a picture of her. She's got the baseball bat, and basically it was a baseball card with like a second with her being a second baseman for like I think the Cubs or something like that. But yeah, Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I said Mary Shelley, because as soon as I said it, I was like, that's wrong. Because I know she wrote Frankenstein, but still.
Okay, yeah,
But
Shelley
yeah,
Duvall.
Unfortunately, the older you get, the more you see people that you do know of dropping off, unfortunately.
Okay, Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall. Okay, all right. Sounds like The Shining is when that's like the last movie she did, or maybe not. No, there's a couple other movies here that I haven't heard of. Room 237. I haven't heard of that one. The Forest Hills. Forest Hills was just last year, so she's working up. She's still working. There you go. Yeah.
What
Popeye.
film is that, Ryan?
Have you ever done that? I can see you doing it. And the only thing is, there'll be, the only thing is, there'll be nobody else in the theater because you probably go at the times when like you can just like lay out and just like if you want to, you could just roll down the aisles, and just have a lot of fun. I can see, you're like talking to the movie. You like when people say don't talk to you could be talking to the movie and nobody, the movie would answer back because it's only you. It's only you.
Right, well, if you see the movie at 11 a.m. and you watch it at 10 p.m., there's no real difference. The movie is the movie, but you will have less chance of basically other people making noise, which is one of my biggest bugbears.
Yeah.
It's like a guy fell asleep once at the seat behind me.
Oh no.
Watching, it was Captain Phillips was the movie, Tom Hanks one.
Okay.
And basically, but because he was snoring through the trailers, And basically, he'd fallen asleep. He was snoring through the trailers, and everyone you could feel, you feel like everyone's turning round and they want you to do something. So I threw my cup at him.
Wow.
Well, but they were like, basically, everyone who was looking like, you're the one who's nearest. You do something, and I'm like, all right, I will. So I threw my cup at him, and then that didn't work. So I actually then just started jabbing him with another cup, and he woke up and then looked at me like, what the hell were you doing? I'm like, no, sir, what the hell were you doing?
You're in a movie theater. Get out. If you want to go to sleep, go home.
Yeah, we'll go to sleep, go to bed. Exactly right.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah, I think you're right. Everybody would want to see Deadpool. I'm actually, I'm going to see that the first day it comes out. So Deadpool and Wolverine. I gotta have my tickets for that already. So
in the UK, that movie comes out. Let me have a look here.
comes out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's the end of July. Sorry, I haven't.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Beetlejuice in 6th of September. These are UK release dates. Although we are getting closer. Like, it's very rarely now that movies come out in America before here. A lot of the big movies, they want to release them at the same time to maximise the money. Moana 2 is coming. So, for anyone who's not got their Dwayne Johnson fix, because they like money. There's an interesting movie called Trap coming out. M. Night Shyamalan.
You just made that last name up, but that's all right.
No, he's a real director.
No, I know, but you didn't. That's not. I know that's how you say his name.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't know. It doesn't sound right. Maybe I'm wrong.
I probably did say it wrong at first, but then I realised no, it's actually Shyamalan.
All right.
I've probably said it 3 different ways in the 3 times I've said it. But still, basically, my understanding of the plot is that Josh Hartnett is a serial killer, but he's taken his daughter to see her favourite singer. But what he doesn't realise is that the entire thing is an elaborate trap to catch the killer.
Oh.
And that's the only reason they've got but he knows, because one of the people that work there told him, like, thinking that he's not the killer. And so that was interesting. I mean, that's in the trailer. I'm not spoiling any. That's literally all I've gathered from the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. So yeah, see, Big Gunner is just like, this is kind of what I thought I heard from you. You didn't say the Shamalanga Ding Dong, but yeah.
I did not say Shalamalama Ding Dong, but I wish I had. It's funny.
Yeah.
Deadpool Wolverine, yes, could be a big movie, but I don't think it's going to be the biggest movie of summer. In my opinion, I think that distinction will go to Despicable Me 4, which I watched yesterday.
Oh, see, I don't like. I guess the only cartoons I've been watching is the Spider-Verse. So, but I get the draw to the Despicable Me.
Because people love the Minions. I love Minions personally. I just think they're fantastic.
It's like the squirrel from the squirrel from, what is that? Oh my gosh, was that a cartoon movie with the squirrel? Or the penguins. You got the penguins you got the penguins. You got the squirrel. Ice Age, yes. Ice Age got the squirrel, and then you got the penguins in the other cartoon with the zoo animals.
On Zootopia and all that.
No, not Zootopia. It's the other one that would compete against Zootopia.
Happy Feet.
No.
Well, Happy Feet is all penguins.
No. This is the penguins are.
Mr. Popper's penguins.
Madagascar, yeah, the penguins in Madagascar, yes.
They all got it, yeah.
Yeah. I like those. I watched those ones. I don't know. I don't think I've watched them in the theater though. But yeah, Madagascar. I like the penguins there.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Deadpool's not going to be a successful movie, because it obviously will be.
Yeah.
But obviously, by the very nature of it being Deadpool, means it won't make as much money as an animated kids movie like Despicable Me 4. It just won't.
True.
Like for example, I sort of looked this up yesterday.
But the difference is, I think, parents will take their kids to see the movie once, but I know a lot of adults will go see a movie multiple times. So
That is true, but then if parents take their kid, but if you go on your own or with your mate, they've only got your money once. Even if you go twice, they've got your money twice. But parent takes the family, that's 4 tickets.
But there's only a set number of seats, so it will go on for
is.
longer. So yes, so the theater might be full for a month or a month and a half or whatever. But then are people still going after that? Probably not as much.
Well, it only came out in England yesterday, Despicable Me 4, but it's been out in America for nearly 2 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah,
but it's already made $278 million.
Yeah, those numbers mean nothing, because if you remember going to movie theaters when it cost $2, when it costs $5, and now it costs $13.
Yeah.
It's like, is it really like the number of seats that you sell is probably more indicative of whether it's a popular movie than the gross, because it's even I don't even know if the profit is that much at the end of the day of all the marketing and the salaries that they pay.
The profit's probably about 70 million at the moment. Because whatever they say the budget is, you usually double it, because then they'll spend that money on promoting it.
True.
So if it costs 100 million to make it, they'll spend another 100 million to promote it.
Very true.
And then everything, like for example, like Deadpool, they're gonna have to make a serious amount of money to make a profit on it.
Yeah, you got two top stars in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you see all the commercials, right? Gotta start making some of that money now. Making some of that money now. But it is an hour and a half here. There is, as you say, there are pretty much 3 more big games going on in terms of football in the summer. Uruguay will play Canada tonight over here in the States. Early morning for you guys over there and across the pond. And then the big games tomorrow. England and France, and you've got Argentina England and Spain. Sorry, I put France in there. Sorry. And then you've got Argentina and Colombia. I'm going for the upsets in both. So, Colombia and England, how about it? I don't think anybody's given England that much of a chance because of what I think is, and I said this going in when they made that system change and they went with the back 3. I said that first game looked like they were still trying to feel their way around, in that system. Second game looked better. I don't know about you, but I think and I expect this to happen, Foden starts, he will, he'll probably be able to put a ball away maybe and get that elusive goal that he hasn't had, and that's what he's supposed to bring to the table, because he's been trending that way. And he's probably pissed that he didn't score in the last one. All right, he should be, anyways. Right? He should be pissed he didn't score. And Harry Kane should be quieting all the noise. All right.
You know what? It would just be really nice if we had a nice performance. A comfortable win would be very nice. I know you're not going to get a comfortable win. It'd be at best we'll probably get an uncomfortable win.
Yep.
But I'm not even saying we're going to win. I'm just saying the best outcome, because it's one of the rare opportunities where we'll all get to be really happy because we're all supporting the same team generally.
True.
Because obviously,
well,
we have our own club allegiances.
True. And, they put themselves in a situation where, they're 90, 120 minutes from winning something. So how about you just go and do it? Right? Just go and do it this time. So
I'll love the situation where we can look back on it and go, England were terrible in that tournament and won it. Like, I'd love to be terrible at something. I'd love to win something.
True.
No, how good we were.
I hear that, but they're making it sound like the only reason why England won is because everybody else was terrible, and that's not true. Everybody was terrible. So on a level playing field, everybody is playing at the same level. So it's not that each one team won it because the other teams were worse. No, everybody's been poor. Spain's been the most consistent team in this thing, right? Had a big challenge against France. If I think if Mbappe is healthy, he probably gets them at least the extra minutes, right? Or well, they did play extra minutes, didn't they? No, he would have got them. I think he would have scored that. He would have scored the goal they needed to tie that thing up. If he didn't have the broken nose and stuff, because he's got that in him, right? He's probably the only player right now, right, that you go, well, if he's healthy and ready to go, I fear that he will score. Ryan's bringing up Bielsa's meltdown, even though he spelled his name wrong. So I don't even know if Mr. Tom's even going to acknowledge that because you spelled the man's name wrong.
Anyone who questions him is wrong. It's simple as that. He's the world's greatest man that ever lived.
Yeah, bumpy grass, Ryan. Bumpy grass. The man called out bumpy grass. So there you go. So when Mr. Tom starts complaining about anything, you just say bumpy grass because you know what, And
it must have actually been bumpy grass for Bielsa to say something, because the amount of times Leeds lost and he would go, I'm not going to criticise, the referee's done his job, even if we don't like decisions, he's here to do a job, and he did it. And I was like, yeah, you're right, Marcelo, you're the world's greatest man, because he is. And you know what, you're not going to get a rise out of me, sir. Bielsa's right, he's never wrong.
So Onana has here you go has been called. So I think it's here you go. Does that say that? Oh yeah, here we go. So Fabrizio Romano has said it, so it means it's true, right?
Yep.
Onana is moved on to Aston Villa. Aston Villa is doing really well. Like one thing they're making sure they do is they have a good squad. I think a lot of people getting on Arsenal for not moving faster, but I kind of feel like the players that they need aren't fully available to even discuss the changes, making a move like that, So
if you get something done now, it's fine. But generally, you're going to see a lot of action.
Yeah, because players that have been playing in Euros and Copa America, they need to go away because they know when they come back, it's business, and they're not going to get that break again. All right. Unless you're in the non-English leagues where you do get that winter break, but otherwise, it's time to play. All right, so I kind of feel like let those players do what they want. If you want to bring them in, you bring them in, and you just bring them in slowly. That's why you need depth, anyways. All right, instead of somebody having to play 90 minutes, maybe they play 45 to start off, and then you get everybody acclimated at the same time. So those who are coming back and those who aren't. So this is BX Gunners. Starting 11 for tomorrow.
Bowen.
Yeah, I think you're reaching BX Gunner. Bowen has he played this? Has he even played?
He's basically dropped Harry Kane.
Yeah, and he's dropped Foden as well.
That's his opinion. I just don't think they're going to drop Harry Kane for a final.
I don't think you should drop Foden. You finally got him actually playing better. Like, if you don't want to see if that trend continues, then I think that's like, what was the point of bringing him, So, yeah, Watkins is, I think, Watkins, Palmer, and Gordon, yeah.
They're going to say Watkins hasn't done enough to displace Harry Kane. And if you say because he scored in the semi-final, be like, yeah, that's really cool. Well done. But what have you done regularly?
Well, when that's your first appearance in the tournament, you really don't have much to stand. Like, whatever you're doing in practice isn't enough, and whatever you've done in your life isn't enough at this point. The transfer window is going to be dead because of FFP. It's I don't know if it'll be dead. I just don't think you're gonna see a lot of big players all going to.
No, I initially agreed. When Brownie said this, I get why he says it, because obviously people don't want to spend money. But see, now I'm seeing that Aston Villa and Everton and all that are selling each other their players for a lot of money. It might not actually be dead. They're just all frauding the system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the league has the opportunity to look at these deals and figure out if they are legit or not. And Anana was, when it was Arsenal looking at him, I thought it was around that 40 mil mark anyway. So, you know,
But I also think teams are very they're being conscientious because such a 90s way, as Brumley's put his next one, is
mhm,
basically a lot of teams got stung because they'd buy players without doing their due diligence just
yeah,
because the player had a good 5 games in the tournament.
yeah,
And it very rarely worked out for them.
yeah.
Especially more in the early 2000s as well.
Yeah,
With all
but
the
but
semi-ball
but
players.
but we all know that, at least for me anyways, the way the Arsenal works, they don't like to just sign players and from afar, right? Their marketing is has a plan, and they stick to that pretty much all the time. Like, until that player can make that flight over, they're not really doing anything, right? Until that player is like fully like, I'm ready to go, they don't do anything, right? A lot, like, few times does a player come out of holidays and go back, you know? Typically they don't mind waiting and do it, and just do it, and then be like, all right, because especially they want them on that plane if they can. The only way you can do that is if they wait, right? They want them like on that plane, so when they come, they're not doing all that stuff that they have to do. They're like, here, look, we want you. We're gonna sign you when you come back from vacation. Let's get it sorted out. You're gonna sign. You're gonna go to the Emirates and all that stuff, do the videos and all that, and then you're gonna get on a plane and go to America. So I hear that they could just do it, but I don't. I think Arsenal, at least for me, I feel like Arsenal wants to. They have a. They like the flash and the lights and all of that, in camera and action and all of that. So, because yeah, a player can just sign. They don't need to be in. They can do all this remotely, right? Just sign it and scan it and send it back to you, kind of thing. They really wanted to do it.
That doesn't make for a great social media video when you can have the guy actually at the club and be pictured signing it and stuff like this. And I know it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But it's just content, isn't it? Which is the main thing for the brand and club and all that.
True. So I think that, I mean, if this Ricardo Calafari is actually happening, and sounds like Arsenal is off by about 10 mil in terms of what they want, hopefully they can meet in the middle and
Have
move
you
on.
ever seen him play? Because I've never heard of him.
I've heard he played well in Euros and had one play where he got an assist off of it. I've seen, I've gone and looked at his videos and stuff. It doesn't mean much. But it's weird because I went and watched some of his videos, and I would say about 80% of it wasn't him playing football. It was him kind of running around. No, I didn't see him make a defensive play, and saw him dribble a little bit. So yeah. So I kind of feel like that's what's going on there. So yeah, no, I saw United got Zertsky and paid more for him so they could pay the installments. So than the other team wanted, which I guess should be the way, right? If they want a certain amount of money, they should, you pay more, you get what you want, then that works out for you. I think I saw also Gyökeres, he might be available for less now. I don't know if that's because the market has dropped or because something else. So, like, if they want to bring in a young striker, he would probably be the perfect one, especially at the price they're claiming. It's like 50, 60 mil. Right, if you said you can bring in a Gyökeres for 50, 60 mil, and he doesn't have to start above Havertz, which is fine, because I feel like we just said it. It takes a bit of a time before a player can come in and get acclimated to Premier League football. So
would have been a lot easier if you just give Coventry 20 million or so that they wanted for him 2 years ago.
Yeah, but nobody takes that risk anymore.
No, you have to let someone else do it. Right.
Yeah. Well, think about it. You take him 2 seasons ago, right? Who was the striker then?
Eddie.
No. Who was the striker then? Eddie was never the striker. I mean, it went from Nketiah, not Nketiah.
Well, we didn't
Sorry,
know he was good 2 years ago.
it went from I mean, it was Aubameyang, and then after that, who was it? Right? I mean,
Oh, what's his name? Lacazette.
Lacazette, right? So it'd have been perfect for him to come in there with a more senior player in front of him, and maybe he built like that. For me, Arteta doesn't even do that with his academy players, so he's going to do that with a player that's coming out of the championship. I don't know. I just feel like if I would have thought he could, he would take a player under his wing and like let him play under the more established player. I would get it, but he doesn't do that even now.
It actually shows off a lot of like the bias against the championship, because basically, I mean, he had one good season in championship and obviously a good season in Portuguese Super League or whatever they call it. But basically, you were unwilling, like big clubs were unwilling to basically buy a striker from the championship, but you will buy that same player out of the Portuguese top division.
No, but if he
which
does that,
arguably is lower than the
I
championship.
don't know if that's necessarily true. I think if you do it for multiple seasons, they will notice. But usually, what happens is the same thing happened to Tony. You have a striker at that level. What ends up happening, right? You get promoted, and then voila, right? Because if you have that striker that you're talking about, all that does is get you more wins, right? And eventually, that might get you promoted, like what happened to Brentford, all right? And now, because I remember them talking about getting Tony, and it's like, well, they're getting promoted. There's no way they're gonna sell him, right? Right? Because he's had the back-to-back seasons of 20 plus goals or whatever it was. So yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I kind of feel like it's not. It needs more than 1 year. I don't know if you've seen a striker for 2 years hit 20 goals in the championship, and nobody look at him in the Premier League. When's the last time you've seen that? Typically,
But what I mean is, and you're right, but when the team that looks at that player, is usually bottom half. Do you want to come play for us? And then you'll look at him based on the top half. We'll look at him based on his performances in the bottom half. Whereas, but you'll be willing to buy him based on his performance in Portugal. If he has one good year in Portugal, oh yeah, we'll pay 50 million for him.
Like I said, I don't necessarily believe that to be true. I just think it's 2 years of consistency. That's what I believe it is. As much as you want to say it's just because it's not English, the lower tiers of English football, I kind of feel like you look at a lot of these top players in Premier League now, the ones that are almost on their way out, they all did that. They all played in the championships and the lower leagues and stuff like that for a bit, right? And only until they got moved into a top tier and then move on again do you see them. So I kind of felt like it's consistency, and like that's what I feel like it is, right? And think about
what I mean is your club doesn't take the gamble. Like a top 6 club doesn't take that gamble.
Yeah.
You let someone else take the gamble first. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's how it's done.
Yeah.
Basically, like for example, Ben Berrett and Diaz scored loads of goals in the championship for Sheffield United. Sorry, not Sheffield United. Blackburn, sorry. Then Sheffield United bought him. Now, if he'd have scored loads of goals for Sheffield United in the Premier League, then Hughes would have been in for it, or not necessarily Hughes, but one of the 6 would be in for him. Because then you let someone else take that gamble. Whereas you could save yourself a lot of money if your club basically just went, we'll give you 10 million for him, instead of we'll pay you 30 or 50. Sorry.
True. Yeah, but no, I hear you. But like I said, like for me, Arsenal wasted those opportunities to make those types of purchases because they wanted to hold on to their younger players. Like they held on to Milsroof Road, they held on to Nketiah, they held on to Nelson, right? And those players, for me, like either they are going to make it, and you see that, or they're not, and you have to move them on. So you have to set them up for moving on to the next thing. And they haven't done either, and now they're stuck with them, and that's some monies that they could have used for, to take that 20 mil chance on a player from championship that's trending in the right direction, but they don't do that. They don't do that. So that's why the Brightons and stuff will take those players and then turn around and sell them for the 100 mil. All right. But we are here. I think I was going to say we're going to head out of here 20 minutes ago, but we are going to head out of here now. I'm going to make sure we head out now. We will be back next week. We'll be doing this.
Are you going on Ryan's show tomorrow?
More than likely. No, I want to
So
watch.
not that I'm inviting people on your show, Ryan. It's
Yeah,
just more because.
No. I mean, I believe the invitation for me is open since I have the ability to go in any time. So
Yeah, I assumed you had it. But...
So I will. I want to watch the match anyway. So I probably will go in and watch it. So yeah, you'll check me out tomorrow. I know Ray is probably going to have his show a little bit earlier than usual because I think the England game is at 8, if I recall. We should be right in the middle of Ray's show. So I think Ray's doing an earlier show tomorrow for the Arsenal fan circle. So I guess it'll be a long day there. But yeah. All right, Mr. Tom. Talk to the people.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just to quickly address this. To be fair though, West Ham were a relegation battling club when they bought Jared Bowen from Hull. So that actually fits the pattern of what I'm suggesting. Is that the big six let the other 14 take the risk on their behalf.
Yeah, and
it
you know what
happens that West Ham have moved on.
And I think a lot of those teams, because they don't necessarily have to be starters for you too. They could also be squad players for you, and they've come in from a tougher league, so they're not going to be. They're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
It won't surprise them what's happening in the Premier League as far as the toughness and stuff that you might get, the speed of the game and whatnot. That's already there. So all you're doing really is, if you hit lightning in a bottle, then they could become starters for you. But worst case, they're just going to be part of your squad, and they can start for you. All right, and you want to catch those players before that team makes the run for the to get promoted. All right, that's the trick. You get them early enough, like you said. Instead of getting them for 20, maybe you get them for 10, and you get a year for them to kind of work into that spot. So Eddie can handle it, and and I think for me that's on Arsenal. They did not. I don't think Arsenal prepared him well for football in general because he doesn't even as much as Mr. Tom loves him, doesn't play good English football.
His 6 goals for Leeds were very, very good.
He doesn't play good football consistently in the English league.
We might not have got promoted initially without his 6 goals.
Where is he now? You gonna take him? You need goals. You're gonna take him.
I think he could actually suit our style of play in the Championship.
Because you're gonna give him more football, and that's what he needs. He's not gonna get it. What Arsenal needs and what he offers isn't on the same page right now. He needs to play more football. That's the problem. Like him, Nelson, and Middlesbrough Road, they need to play football. They're not going to play it.
Get the ball. He's never given the ball when he does play. And then you all
you know why? Because he's not in position to.
No, but as fans, you'll sit there going, I can't believe Eddie hasn't scored yet again. And you'll see he had 2 touches of the ball.
Because he doesn't put himself in position to do that. Like as many times as I scream at him to stop jogging, he needs to be making runs in the goal in the box. He's not doing any of that. So you got to put yourself out there and make like at some point you can't say, you got to say, look, Eddie, he should be screaming like those guys aren't passing to me, as opposed to he's not in the position to take the ball anyways.
I think Gabriel Jesus is a bit racist, not giving the ball to him. That's all I'm going
to say. I think you have to put your presence is definitely important. I don't think he does. He presents that on the pitch. All right, Mr. Tom, anything else you want to say before we head out of here?
Yeah. I just figure I should say thank you to everyone for participating in the show. I know it's the summer months. There's not really much going on, but I figure worst comes to worst, we just end up having a conversation with ourselves. But so thank you for turning up. Brownie, BX Gunner, Sam Greenwood, obviously the Lord, Ray for listening in. I'll say hello to Arsenal Misfit because he usually listens in. Obviously, Phil joined us as well. Gary's dad. Did I say Ryan as well? Of course. So yeah, thank you everyone for supporting the show, supporting Gary in his YouTube endeavors, and yeah, I'll see you next time.
Very true. And also, I would like to say thank you for those on Instagram who joined us. Jacques Baron 21, Francian 52, Detroit Gooner, and also my sister joined us from there. So thanks for joining us there. We're expanding our horizons. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining us. Let me get the exit, and I'll put the 100th show video out there so you guys can check that out and enjoy and have a good one. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Hit the likes, subscribe, and all of that. And we're out. That is not the outro. So this is the outro. We'll see you guys later.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip. Enjoy the ride. There you go.